right, welcome to the Quest Culture Podcast, your place for all things sci-fi, fantasy, horror, action on TV, movies, print, and all media. I'd like to thank you guys for listening. I want to do a real quick shout out to all the new followers that we have on the YouTube
Yes.
platform.
Welcome, followers.
Welcome. I appreciate it. You guys are amazing. Thank you for listening to us talk shit. It's pretty amazing.
What are they saying out there? What's going on?
That we're super cool.
Bro.
Oh, yeah?
We are super cool, man.
No, they have a lot of questions. And it's good. It's good. So keep up with the comments, keep sharing, and we appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. So as usual, I'm here with my friends and my family. Longtime friend, horror aficionado,
Yes.
clearly from Minnesota today, Lovely Prince. Darjack the Destroyer, Ludana Jeter is here with you guys today.
Hello.
Danadeet on the socials.
Yep.
And then we have my cousin, the amazingly green today. See, going out on a Green Lantern show.
I'm feeling very Sal today. You know what I mean? I'm Sal from Bensonhurst. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying, bro.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. The professor, Sheldon Applewhite.
Hey, guys. Good to be here.
How you guys doing today? All right?
Yes.
Pretty good. It's sunny out.
It is. It's sunny.
Beautiful day.
It's nice. It's nice and crisp, but it's sunny. So it's all good.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm all right. It was we were just talking about. I'm not a fan of the wintertime and the cold and the lack of sunshine. But today is beautiful.
It is.
So I'm thankful that we were able to get out today and do this.
Yeah, get that hour and a half sun before.
Get the hour and a half sun before it goes back.
Before the moon was like, all right, it's my turn.
Exactly.
Whatever.
So we're back in Mordor, with Sauron and Tower. We have a special guest today, right?
We
Yeah.
do.
Why don't you do the intro?
Okay, so I just want to introduce our guest for today, Jacob Lawrence, right?
Jacob.
Hi, Jacob.
The animator, not the artist, right? But one of the things that is really cool is he is named after, he's not named after, but his name is the same as a famous artist, right? Jacob, how are you?
I am doing great. How you guys doing?
Yeah, we're good. We're glad to have you here.
Yes, we are.
Jacob is an animator.
Yes.
Well, he's an up and coming animator,
Which is so awesome. Can't wait to hear about it.
He is a friend of the family and friend to the show. One of my really good friends, Florence Flo. Hi, Flo.
Hi, Flo.
And, we've been friends for years, and I've always seen his work. You know what I mean? One of the first times I remember seeing his work, he was designing these cityscapes. So, for example, like St. Louis, he had prominent parts of the city on the sketch, and like the arc, right?
Yeah.
And if it was like Cleveland, it would be like the Music Hall of Fame, and right. And so he saw those, and I was like, bro. You can make a whole bunch of money off of this. You know what I mean? I'm like, put them on a tote bag and like you're going to be rolling in it, So that was the first time I saw his talent, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I always like to encourage young people when I see talent that they have, no matter what it is, I like to try to encourage them to like pursue it, but he had already had his plans of pursuing it, which we learned recently.
It's amazing.
And so, he talked about he was going to this I'll let you tell your story. But anyway,
All right.
right? I'm not going to tell your story for you. But I noticed his talent, and he would keep me updated. Well, he goes to SVA. He's going there for animation, pursuing his dream.
Shout out to SVA.
Yeah, and so I just thought he would be a great guest to have on the show since he is into animation.
Yeah,
Awesome.
absolutely.
Yeah, we intended today, and I think it was your idea to talk about animation cartoons today.
It's me.
It was you.
Yeah.
Right. So you came on.
It was
the
a
right
brilliant
episode.
idea too.
Brilliant idea, and Sheldon thought, I think I know who we should have on for that episode.
Yeah.
So welcome to the Quest Culture
Yes,
Podcast.
welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's so wonderful to be here.
What made you? So first of all, those sketches that Sheldon's referring to, you have them, right? So you can send it to us so I can.
Oh yeah,
show
I do.
people.
I do have those sketches with me right now.
Oh, you have them now. Excellent. Let's take a look real quick.
Okay.
What? So what made you? Is it? Are you? I don't know what you call it. Do you like sketching more portraits? Or do you like sketching more buildings, scenes? Like, what is your like when you're when you pick up that thing and you're like, you feel like you want to express something, are you normally expressing, like, are you drawing people or are you drawing places?
Well, for places, I tend to sketch them as like a perspective on what I want to do for backgrounds, because normally I would just draw like a lot of characters and just like a lot of people and just draw whatever I see, like people walking down the street or just laying down in the park. But I draw these buildings as like practice to help me with backgrounds, because I want to try to get into that perspective more so I can use it for future projects,
Excellent.
which I think is really cool.
That is cool.
Do you find it difficult to sketch scenes like buildings and such?
It's kind of a bit difficult. I mean, some of the places here is like, especially here in New York, the buildings are really complicated. So I have to pinpoint like each window, like each decor, and whatever stylizes the building and what final tower or needle that they have.
Well, I would imagine.
Pull up one of the photos so we can take a look. Go ahead, Joe.
I would imagine that it would be really hard because New York is I mean, we don't think about it this way, but it's an architecturally stunning place with a lot of variety in terms of what it has. And I share something with you guys actually. Is like, so you guys know about my organization, my grassroots organization, the Harlem Pickleball Association. Shout out to Harlem Pickleball Association.
Where do people go if they want to sign up for that real quick?
Go to Harlem Pickleball Association at gmail.com or Harlem Pickleball Association on Instagram and on Facebook.
Excellent. All right.
So when we were trying to like sort of give ourselves like define ourselves with a logo and mission or whatever, I thought about Jacob. And so I contracted Jacob to design our logo. And what he did was I told him, I wanted something to capture the Harlem landscape because I remember those landscape photos the pictures he did. And so, we contracted him. He put something together, like, and he had like these sort of defining sort of parts of Harlem, like the Apollo, and then Harlem has a lot of water towers. And then also the bridge that's closest to you. It's not, I can't remember the name of it. The one that you can walk across. I think it's the one, not the 155th.
I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah, right with the arches, right, the beautiful arches. And so he put that together, and
that's amazing.
we use it as our mascot. Yeah, as our logo.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's really great.
And that goes along to what you were saying earlier about maybe us just being all jaded and curmudgeonly, if that's a word. I'm trying to come up with all these new words because I just saw Wicked. So I like how they just combine words.
Don't do wicked words, please.
I would like to do them as much as I would like to do them. Thank you very much, Lee.
Yeah, I think I kind of caught that on the back end, but my mind wasn't really registering
Well, I was like,
it
wait a minute, that's not a
completely.
word, but they're talking so fast.
But we'll save that. We'll save that
Yeah,
for
we'll
the
save
next
that for
episode.
But it made me, to your point, think about, New York City does have some beautiful architecture.
Absolutely.
When I'm not
Yeah.
just trying to bust through the crowds, just trying to survive to get to the
Move
subway.
the F out of the way.
And I stop for a second, exactly, and I look around. I'm like, especially around Rockefeller Center, where we were talking about earlier. There's some amazing reliefs and such on those buildings, and we are very fortunate to.
Well, that's
kinda
why I
live
say
in a
that's
city
why I
that
say
has
I
that kind of-
love tourists and young people, because they make me look at New York. They make me take a step back
Absolutely.
Yeah.
and say, okay, don't forget where you live. You
Yeah.
live in one of the dopest cities on the planet.
Yeah.
So for you to want to draw this city,
It's amazing.
it is. It really
Yeah.
is
I
amazing.
mean,
Yeah.
it's absolutely wonderful. I mean, it has a lot. New York has a lot of culture, and all these buildings are so iconic. And there was a video game that I played, which was like a building. It's like a sandbox game. It's called Minecraft. You guys know Minecraft.
Yeah, there's a movie coming out
Yes.
Oh, boy.
That movie's gonna suck.
with Jason Momoa.
Sorry.
He's gonna be
Sorry,
Jason
man.
Momoa.
Oh
course
my
he
God,
is.
he's following down the rock path.
He's going down the rock path.
Dwayne
He's-
Johnson.
I know, but Jason Momoa, like with his makeup and just a weird ass outfit, like what?
I
Are
hope
we
you could.
dragging him today, or we're not going to drag him?
Jason Momoa?
We try not to drag people on the show, but
We
I
try
mean,
not to, but we try
yeah.
to be honest.
I think we have to be
Let's
honest.
try to be
Yeah,
honest.
we
Right?
have to be
Somebody should
honest.
talk to his publicist.
Yeah.
Okay, we're getting
Somebody.
off.
Yes.
Off target.
All
So,
right.
so Minecraft.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, so I wanted to kind of experiment with the game a bit more because I used to be in an MST class, and
What is MST?
Yeah, what is MST?
MST, it stands for Math Science Technology, and they mostly focused on architectural stuff and mechanical engineering. So that was like I think this was during middle school when I took that class.
Oh wow.
So like when COVID hit, that's when we all had to like isolate, and then we had to do our classes online. But I wanted to take this time to actually use the game as like an experiment to create like cities in real life. So I've been creating like these cities like New York, Philadelphia, Toronto, all that. And I did kind of have I also did kind of have a feeling that I really missed the city because, you know, I used to go there a lot to, you know, visit my family, to visit Sheldon, all that.
Mhm.
And it kind of made me a bit sad that that we had to isolate, but it was a fun time. I really enjoyed making these cities in Minecraft. And not only did I experiment with those, but it opened me to different cultures around these different locations in the United States,
Mhm.
which was really exciting because, you know, that's like different music, these different artists, you know, these different types of food there, what their sports team is like. And
So I,
it's totally awesome.
so I have
really
two
enjoyed it.
questions.
Yeah.
One, where can people view those cities that you created in Minecraft? Is there a place they can go and to see what you've done?
I'm trying to work on that
Mhm.
because
That's really
There's-
great. That's amazing that you.
Mhm.
I know you can do a lot of crazy things with Minecraft. If you're
Okay, I'm
super,
sorry.
yeah. So
Can I
Minecraft.
just ask?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you explain
Go ahead.
to
Explain
me
explain
and
Minecraft.
to other folks who
So Minecraft is like a sandbox, open world game. You can build structures, right? But there's also like a competition component, right?
Yeah, sometimes they do that. They have like build battles and just like all that, and they have competitions. Well, they're not like hosted by officially Mojang and the rest of the people, but it's more like third party owners that host these, and they give out rewards for which person has the best building or which person can
Okay.
like.
So it's like virtual
once you
virtual
create
Legos.
these, they have ownership of them, so you don't.
I mean, for the competition, yes, they do have ownership.
Mm.
But normally, if you're doing this as like a personal project and not like a competition or anything, then no, they don't own it.
Okay.
But technically, if it's on their platform, they do own
Yeah.
they do own what you produce. On
Yes.
on that platform.
They do.
Yeah.
It's more like a collaboration.
Right. Right.
So
Okay.
if you agree to collab, then they have all the rights to whatever you build.
Excellent. I've never tried it because I feel like if I did, I would get sucked into building. I would just probably
So
build.
they can do whatever they want with you.
As long as you can build it with a block, you can build it.
Okay,
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's
that
like
is amazing.
it's like Legos, but virtually. Does that make sense? Kind of.
Yeah.
Oh, you should have made
Is
it
that a good
wicked
analogy?
word.
Yeah.
I should have made a wicked word.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll think of one. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Um,
I think that's how you can put it in.
What and before we get into the cartoons, because definitely want to get into cartoons. You've had complete support into this, into art and being able to draw. Like you've had people behind you that are encouraging you and pushing you. Has that made a difference into how you progressed?
Yeah, it's really changed me ever since I moved here because back last year I had a ton of art block and I didn't even know what to draw or to create at that point because I come from a small town and nothing basically happens there. And it just really amazed me that whenever I would just like do some fan art. Like I did some fan art for one of my favorite artists, And when I saw that they liked it back, it gave me a bit of motivation to just draw more,
Mhm.
and that really helped me grow my platform.
What did Flo say when you said when you said
Well,
I want to be an animator? What was the response to that?
that's a great question. Because listen, I mean, Flo's a doctor.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
She's a doctor. And she's Caribbean. She has a
yes.
Haitian background, right? So it's like these expectations of like how you want your child to
I know where you're
succeed, right? We all I mean, your mom is a doctor, right? Like my mom's a school teacher, whatever.
Right.
We have high expectations, like for they had high expectations for us. So I think she was trying to like balance his, and I don't want to speak right, his enthusiasm
Mm-hmm.
with like kind of like being practical and just
Sure.
like being like, her being a high achiever. So I have to say that I really found her, like, I was very proud that she didn't sort of succumb to like the pressures that we feel. I mean, you've been on this pathway too with your own mom, right?
Yeah.
In terms of being a musician versus, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, I didn't have that kind of like, a parent who had high status, but I felt that pressure, right? And so I was trying to be a friend to her and really like to him by saying like, if he is passionate about it, he's gonna build a career from it. Like, you know what I mean? When you see somebody who's passionate about something, you will do something with it.
I mean, she was a bit hesitant at first
for
about what I'm doing, and she did want me to like experience what other people were experiencing. Like she wanted me to go to like a store to find a person who went to SVA and talk about their experiences. But I know that times are different now, and SVA is totally different. So I'm probably not gonna have the same experiences they did. But it would be nice to hear what other people thought about their 4 years.
What year are you in now?
I'm a freshman.
So let's say it senior year.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you hope you'll be working?
Good question.
I'm technically not sure yet.
Okay.
I might still be in New York for senior year, probably working in an animation studio. I mean, there's some animation studios here in New York, so
Really?
I could probably,
Like which ones are here?
mostly known Titmouse.
Oh, Deadmau5 is here.
No, not Deadmau5. Titmouse.
Titmouse.
Yeah, Titmouse.
Actually, Deadmau5 is an act. I'm sorry.
I mean,
I got so excited.
I got so excited.
I am not up over the animation 'cause I thought right.
Yeah, but Titmouse, it's this studio that it's mostly an indie studio that worked for all these companies like Cartoon Network and Adult Swim, and they do like a lot of animations and help with mostly Flash. And they're really connected with SVA. So
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice.
So does SVA feed them like through a program? They can feed them.
yeah,
Get talent from it.
Yeah.
Titmouse does. They do give out portfolio reviews and application
That's
jobs
great.
for
Oh,
the
sauce.
school. So people who are in the animation department that want to apply to the studio, then they have a chance. However, it is still competitive. It's still a competitive field, but I think it's perfect to get to know the studio. But for senior year, I feel like I might be just like, I don't know. I'll still be applying for some jobs because right now the animation industry is not great, but it hopefully will get better.
Why is that?
Tax write-offs, corporate greed, wages.
Easy.
Always comes back to that.
Easy.
Always come back to
Yeah, a lot of those.
Wow.
Are you concerned at all about AI in your field?
A little bit concerned. I mean, I've just seen like a lot of commercials that have been using AI, and I'm just I'm kind of pretty pissed about that.
And we
Yeah.
kind of were talking about it when he was
Yeah.
going through the application process. He was like, that's where his hesitation was.
Yeah.
And so as an educator, it was like, the world is going to be changing in technology, but it's going to be changing in every field. So it's better for you to go into a field that you are passionate about and you're aware of the changes than to go into a field, because it's going to be happening in all fields, right? This AI presence. And so
Actually, I don't know if you've seen this too. because friends in different industries, friends in the banking industry, they're looking to hire more people that have a broader sense, a broader education in terms of their backgrounds. So not just accountants and lawyers and that sort of thing, finance people. They want people that have like art training, music discipline, and things like that. Primarily because I think they're sensing that AI is going to take a lot of the more common practical jobs, but the creative jobs, AI still can't do that. So they're looking for people with that element in their education.
Even with my background, it's like when I saw this like 10 years ago, I'm like, it's going to be harder for them to get in here because it's like you can't think like we do, like no matter what, right? But it's happening faster than I thought it would. Like, and I've done measures or tests in like AI to see if it and it it can do it can't do everything.
Right.
But it can do some of the things that we can do. So like the more creative you are, I think you stand a chance.
Stand a chance of standing out.
Rather than doing something that is monotonous and like everybody else.
Well,
Which is like being a lawyer, right? In some levels, or being like those things are going to become
absolutely,
more
automated.
More automated. And they've already, if you've seen, just shout out to, there's a film, it's called The End of Work. It's an investigative report by Vice. And it came out about maybe 5 years ago, but it talks about, not only like the AI and like truck driving, which is like, that's manual labor. We've seen this movement from manual labor or, manufacturing to like a digitally based economy. But it's also happening like with paralegal work, you know what I mean? So like they're reading contracts.
Of course.
And they were comparing that to an actual lawyer to see who could do better work.
Yeah.
And the lawyer did great.
But for certain tasks, AI is more
efficient. AI, did better.
So, I do feel like that if you have, I'm hoping if you have a broader background, and if you are passionate about what you're doing, I think hopefully you'll be fine. I think you'll be fine. I think true art is true art. I don't think AI will be able to ever create something new that, that's based on their own quote unquote consciousness, because I don't think.
Yeah. Because that has to do with imagination.
It has to do with imagination.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If you could work on any cartoon or program right now,
That's a great question.
what would it be? Like if you're senior year, you're like, I hope I get a acceptance from this particular studio to work on this particular property. What would it be?
Okay. Well, so for the future, we're heading into like a scenery of new animation. There's this thing called indie animation, which is basically you guys know indie animation, right?
No, I don't.
All right, so it's like it's animation, but without the help of
Major studios, like
official studios, like.
Can you give us an example?
Okay, so there's this studio called Iron Circus Animation, and right now they're currently providing the funds to help with an animation series that's based on a webcomic back in 2006 called Lackadaisy. And that show is going to be about 1920s St. Louis, but everybody is just a cat, and it's all about beer.
Everyone's just a cat.
It's all about beer?
Beer?
Yeah.
Like Budweiser
cat
beer,
and beer.
St. Louis?
No, like wine. and yes, well, something like that, but not like Budweiser. But
what's it called?
A Lackadaisy.
Okay.
And their animation is just so beautiful. It's like
what is it about their animation that you?
I mean, it's totally different than what I've seen from the animation on television. I mean, their style is totally different. When it comes to character design, the designs, they look so complicated.
Like
but
photorealistic, or are they more like fantasy?
It's like fantasy.
Okay.
More like rough, kind of. It totally depicts on what happened in St. Louis back in the 1920s. So they had to make the characters look like old time Raggedy, but not like rubber hose you see in like those old cartoons. It's more like a style.
This sounds so interesting.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm gonna have to look at it. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, you
I
gotta
can't
check
wait
it
for
out.
when you edit this that you're going to show.
I know.
Talking
I
about
can't
it.
wait.
I
I'm
hope you
looking
find
up and saying, wait a minute, I gotta see what this sounds.
And I would
Sounds
imagine we're gonna put
Yeah.
together like a compile
Yeah.
list of like animation
Mhm.
like that because we're talking
Yeah.
about stuff that we
But
love,
we could
but
put it
also
in the
new
Absolutely.
comments.
stuff. Right?
Yeah, new
Mhm.
stuff
Yeah.
that we have
And-
absolutely. The fact that you don't know what he's talking about.
I know, right?
You.
I know.
You know? So
Yeah.
this is great.
Yeah.
I love hearing this.
And I kind of see like the future of artists now, because right now a lot of artists, especially the students in the school I go to, they're planning to create their own web series and their own show and to post it on YouTube. And all this help with crowdfunding like Patreon and Ko-Fi.
I think
and
that's
Kickstarter and all that.
going to be the future.
Well, that's
think,
what I was thinking
think,
about.
Like the same thing was we were talking about discussing with news and how it's becoming decentralized and how even places like MSNBC and CNN are losing viewership. But like I think MSNBC is down by 50%
Yeah.
since the election.
Yes.
Fox News is still going, but
Is it?
for the
Even
most
with
part,
news,
I mean,
right?
for
Even
people over like 55 and Fox News
Oh,
will
thanks.
Yeah.
probably.
Mhm.
It's not personal. This is just numbers. But I'm just saying, like once
All right.
once that generation is done, watching that, then I think it's already transitioning towards online media.
Yeah.
So
newsletters,
newsletters
right? Rather than
and
newspapers and stuff
and
like that. Yeah.
the Young Turks and Midas and like independent studios. So I think that's amazing that your classmates, that these students are going to create their own using other platforms to debut their work. And I think there's a hunger for that. I think people are looking for new stuff, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's wonderful, and all this existed way before it became mainstream, because now indie is mainstream. But before then, there's this website called Newgrounds where everybody would just post their games and their animations, and they had like the freedom to do whatever they want without like the FTC just shutting them down on whatever they post.
I mean, you talked about this a little bit earlier, and you talked about it a little bit with Minecraft, but are you concerned about, or intellectual like
IP?
property? You know what I mean? Like, even in my field, it's like you put ideas out there, you're talking, you're writing or whatever, and ideas can be co-opted. People could take ownership of them, concepts or whatever. And I've actually had it happen to me like before or whatever. And so, do you have concerns about that when you are working independently and you're working on these platforms that don't have the protection of like corporations or whatever, right? Because even that route offers you some level of protection. It is what I don't know.
It's hard to say. I would imagine because just for being in the corporate world, that anything you produce under their, like when you're clocked
Umbrella,
in, under
yeah.
their-
Yeah.
belong to them.
Mhm.
So that's the rub.
Yeah.
But to Jacob's point, that indie is becoming mainstream. So does that mean like eventually, when it becomes mainstream, is it eventually going to get bought out by a corporation? You know what I mean?
I mean, that is the trend.
I mean,
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean, not sure if it's gonna be brought out corporately, because it's technically not an icon. I mean, we could take it back to Hazbin Hotel, which was like a show created by Vivian Medrano. She is an alumni of SVA.
Mhm.
She pitched it to A24 and Amazon Prime, and it got picked up. And
Okay.
A24, yeah.
yeah, and it hit #1 in stream. And
What was it called?
Hasbin Hotel. And just then it was just the pilot that was just released on YouTube. And I'm a friend with a cleanup artist and a storyboard artist that worked on the show. His name is David Calif-Roy. Shout out to David Tunes. And he showed a lot of like behind the scenes work on the series, because there were like a lot of fans that were just waiting for Hazbin Hotel and like new series to come up, and it was a success hit. I mean, it was really successful that Prime has gone up from a lot of subscribers, and all this started because of a pilot from YouTube. So I feel like if you just take like an original idea and make it into an IP that's actually good and not just I don't know. Can I say
Cookie
milk
cutter.
it? I don't want to say milk it. That's a lot of people. It's just like biting off more you can chew. That's how you can say it. If you don't bite off more you can chew, then I feel like you can make a good perspective out of it.
Yeah. What is your favorite cartoon right now, or animation?
I'm not sure. There's a lot of them right now.
Just first one that comes to your head.
Okay, Samurai Champloo. That's it's an anime that
You don't know it either?
that
I
is
actually
getting
know that. I think.
You know it?
Yeah, I think.
Samurai Champion.
Yeah.
Yeah, Samurai Champloo.
Champoo?
Champloo.
Champloo.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
it's a anime that was on Adult Swim, and it talked about these three people that are on a quest to find a samurai that smelled like sunflowers. And I kind of like these adventure animes because it brings up a lot of world building into the characters and just meeting new people.
Yeah.
And also I've been listening to New Jabez a lot that I wanted to check out the show, which is really cool.
What about you guys? You got what's an animation you watched recently that really like jumped out at you and were like, hey, I kind of
So recently, I think based on your recommendation, was on Netflix as well. What's the name of it?
Scavenger's Reign.
Scavenger's Reign, right? So I watched Scavenger's Reign. I would say that I'm not really in the anime genre, I would say, or I thought I wasn't, but I guess we'll talk a little more about that. But I watched Scavenger's Reign, and I just thought it was beautiful. You know, the word.
That's the right word.
I think it was wondrous and very inventive and very like
terrifying, right? Too
imaginative. I don't know if I felt.
I felt
terrified.
terrified just because I felt like if let's say we were all, I don't want to give away too much, we crash landed on that planet.
Yeah.
And there are so many beautiful things, but I think the wonder for me was like there are so many beautiful things that could kill you on that planet, and having them try to figure out what, like that little panda thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think
that little.
But I
no,
think
you made the panda thing. Pandas are cute.
Well, true.
But once again, we had like human beings, kind of being the
True.
the problem, right?
Right.
The
So that's what I was
human
going
beings
to
were the
say.
problem.
It's not terrifying. I haven't finished it yet. I love it. I'm like you. It's like I love the drama of it. For whatever reason, I feel like I'm in a trance when I'm watching it. What is that about?
It feels hypnotic,
It
right?
feels hypnotic.
Like they're like the way that they do the movement of certain things, like when the character is going into like they're going through like this almost like a jungle, but it's not really a jungle.
I know what you're talking about.
And then she kind of gets
she sees that light and she walks to the light
and then it just kind of makes all these shapes and it's almost like she's that feels like you're
it's like she was in a trance.
Yeah,
right?
you're entranced. Yeah, you're right. You're being enchanted, right? Like
you really liked it.
I did. I haven't finished it yet, but I'm enjoying it. I'm absolutely going to finish.
One of the early episodes that got me is I just love how creative they are with the life forms that are on this planet.
I thought that was very
I don't know what they are, like little bird things that they land on like a, I don't know if it's a tree or a pole or whatever, and then they just like blend in with the tree.
Yeah.
Remember it was like white and it landed on this pole and then it kind of wrapped around the pole and then you didn't see it anymore.
Right. That's what I'm loving about it.
And then all of a sudden they just all just peeled off and flew away.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
It's just.
Even the things they fly with. Like,
yes.
Yeah, it was just
have you seen it?
Very adaptive planet. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
and what about that scene where I don't know the characters' names yet, but she's riding and like a herd of animals come.
It's so amazing.
That scene was so awesome.
Was
and then the way that their bodies blew up, like when they were, whoever created that, I mean,
yeah,
wow, what an imagination.
I just think that's something amazing that animators can do. Like the idea to come up with that level of creativity.
But why is it only one season? They're already saying it's not going to come back.
Oh, wait,
I didn't see the ending.
Okay, so you didn't see the ending.
No, I didn't see the end. Oh, there's no, okay.
Okay. All right, so I'm still getting into Scavenger's Reign a bit. I'm on episode 1. I mean, the animation is really good, but they were only doing one season, and I don't think they're gonna continue with the show a bit. But there is gonna be another show by the creator. I'm not gonna say much because
I would say if they're not gonna create another season, then the ending to me, well, it could. I'm not gonna give I'm not gonna.
Okay.
The ending suggests that there could be another season. Let me just put it that way. Like the way things ended. there could definitely be another season, and I wouldn't be annoyed that it was another season.
But you're saying the creator is coming up
what
with...
what were you saying?
The creator is coming up with another show. I've actually met him at an event at SVA because
Really? Cool.
Yeah, he's also an alumni of the school as well. His name's Joe Bennett.
And he's alumni SVA?
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
And he is coming up with another show, but it's not going to be, well, it's going to be on Max, but it's going to be on Adult Swim. It's going to be released in 2025, which is coming up.
Oh.
It's called, I think it's called Common Side Effects. And it talks about this guy who found a flower which can cure any lifelong disease, like cancer and HPV, AIDS, all that. And he was trying to look more into it and study its effects. But one problem is that the government is trying to hunt him down because of how much he's exposing them.
So that would be something.
But one problem is that he met one of his friends who was an old friend of high school, but she works for the government. So it's gonna be a problem trying to get the flower to be studied more. And I just think it's like a fun, bizarre,
but serious
experience.
Well,
but serious,
and borrowing from reality a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Like
is that Joseph Bennett or Charles?
Joseph Bennett.
Joseph. Very cool.
Yeah, very
so he's
cool.
From SVA.
You know,
Look
some
at that.
cool
The universe
people.
just kind of brought us there.
The character you're talking about is Ozzy. She's like one of the main characters.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I love the bike she rides with the round
Right?
circles.
Yeah, it's like Akira.
And I mean, and
Akira,
just the whole
yes.
thing. With
Have you ever seen Akira?
I'm sorry.
Akira?
No.
Probably one of the greatest Japanese
Dude,
animes.
you have to watch it. It's
Really?
the reason why animation started. Dude, it has some of the best animation. It's so smooth, so much for like
way ahead of its
the
time.
1980s.
Way ahead of its time.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I will. I
Way ahead of
absolutely
its
will.
time.
You have to check it out.
I will.
So
Especially about
only
that bike, though. That bike is modeled after. It's very similar.
Okay.
So what is your favorite animated show or movie or
For recently, I would say,
what you've been watching?
the Batman Cape Crusader.
That's so
I
good.
thought
It's so good.
really liked it.
So good. It's the first one I've
I
liked.
love the pace of it. I love the animation because it was old school to me.
It's borrowing from the Batman series from the 1990s.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's what it was giving.
Yeah.
And I just like the pace, the storyline. I love that they made
The Penguin.
Penguin a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Online they had problems with that, didn't
Of
they?
course.
Yeah.
Of course. They
Whatever.
But,
The little children.
But yeah, that was one of my favorite ones. And I would also say probably the What If. I can't wait for did the new season come yet?
What If?
I love What Ifs.
not all of them. I wasn't crazy
Yeah?
about all of them, but
Not all of them, but it's just one of
What's
the
your favorite
series.
one of them that you've seen?
Oh Jesus!
Oh,
I
I
love the
don't-
Doctor Strange one. I think
That's my favorite.
Really?
I love the Doctor Strange
Okay.
one. I love the zombie one too.
Zombie one is good.
Yeah.
Zombie one is good. Oh, that's with Hawkeye and Scarlet Witch.
Oh, not that one. No, the one with like Spider-Man and when they are trying, and Scarlet Witch is sort of like, and the team.
I mean, Black Widow. Black Widow.
no,
the one
that's the one episode with like they're the last two.
The
and
last
they're trying to destroy Ultron, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, but the one I'm talking about is when it's like Spider-Man and it's like Captain Britain,
Captain Britain.
right? And they're all trying to
Yeah,
get to
Captain Peggy Carter.
right, and then they find Black Panther, right? It's Vision who is really trying to.
Actually, now that you said that,
That's
that's
one of
my
favorite
my second favorite.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite.
My favorite one is the Ultron one with the Watcher, where the Ultron follows the Watcher
That was
through all the
good.
realities.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was good.
That one.
Yeah,
I
that
thought
was really good.
Amazing. That's an amazing
Yeah.
episode.
So what about you? What are you loving right now besides?
I'm really
Captain
liking Arcane.
I watched an episode. I watched
tried to
the
last
first
night.
episode last night. It was very, very good. That's another one I will continue to watch.
Arcane is amazing.
Yeah.
Arcane, and it's based on
Do you like it?
League of Legends.
Yeah, League of Legends.
Yeah. I've
Yeah.
never played that game.
No.
Two of my favorite animes are from games I've never played.
Yeah, I knew that was from a video game without knowing. Yeah, because
Yeah.
you could tell like
That
the
one
art.
and the other one, if I had to mention it, Castlevania.
Okay.
Castlevania is more adult themed. Actually, they're both actually adult themed.
Yeah.
But it's just so. Arcane reminds me of Into the Spider-Verse type, where they blend all different kinds of mediums into the panel. Like there's one panel at one point where it's all like, oh my God, it's like they drew it with like chalk.
Mm-hmm.
The entire sequence is like chalk colored, and I'm like,
how cool!
How incredibly creative that is, and then they blend the whole cyberpunk with fantasy. And they incorporate a lot of urban elements in the design of the architecture, and then the voice acting is incredible. It's really fun. It's like you're watching a video game, but a really well done video game. So Arcane season 1 and season 2, I'm watching right now, and obviously I keep rewatching Castlevania. I've watched those.
Watch it
because it's so dense. Like there's so much going on and there are moments that are so shocking in it when you're watching it that sometimes you're like, wait a minute, what happened? What did I miss? So you got to go back and revisit it and see what you missed. But every time I watch it, I see something new.
Really, that's great. I love that.
Yeah,
I do that with animation quite a bit actually.
Do you?
Like we were talking, the other day, and it's like there are things that I watch over and over again. I can't get enough of it.
Yeah.
So I guess what are some of your favorites of all time? We'll start maybe with you, Jacob. Like what are some of the things that you love, like since you started loving animation, I guess?
Okay, so Mike. So favorites of all time. I wouldn't technically say. I mean, I would technically say all time. It's got to be. I'll just say JoJo because it's like an interesting anime. I love the designs. Hirohiko Araki. He is really inspired by American culture and their pop style with fashion, and he puts that into some of his creations with the OVA of JoJo, and also the styles like Stardust Crusaders and Battle Tendencies and Phantom Blood. And he creates like a storyline out of them. And right now I'm currently into JoJo Part 3. Well, no, not Part 3 yet. Right now I'm into Part 4. I finished Part 3. It was Stardust Crusaders. It was a mission to get Jotaro's mother to feel better because there is this villain named Dio who was really part of the Joestar bloodline. Well, not part of, but he was brought into the family as like an adopted brother, and he was just like the new kid who would just like traumatize you. And dude, he's just so memeable. Everybody loves Dio. But I do love the storylines that JoJo has.
JoJo. Okay.
Is that the one where the guy with the crocodile head, with the face that's in a crocodile? Is that the same one? I might be thinking of a different anime. I think it's called Joe something, but
I think you're thinking of Jogo from JJK.
Maybe I am.
Maybe. I think there's like a volcano head. But no, he has blonde hair.
Got it.
He's British.
Got it. Got it.
What about you, Ludana?
Oh, all time. Oh, you know what?
All time.
Or a few
across
that you
all
love,
space and time.
I'm an idiot.
Why?
We know this. It's going to be Family Guy and
Family Guy's
American Dad.
There's a reason why they've been on for 1,000 years.
It's just going to be.
Right.
It's always going to be.
Of the two,
I can watch those
over and over again.
And I know you love American Dad.
Oh my God. American Dad is.
I can watch the old episodes of Family Guy. I can watch both of them just over and over
again. So you're
again.
a big Seth MacFarlane
I am a big, not his movies. Oh, wait.
Oh, dude. Everybody back in my high school. I used to do impressions back in high school.
And Seth?
Yes, sometimes. Well, not Seth characters. Well, some Seth characters, but not a lot. But I'm mostly known for like Joe Swanson.
You got to give us a Joe.
Yeah,
you got to give us a Joe.
They'll just be like, everybody, do the Joe Swanson voice. Dude, you got to do the Joe Swanson voice. And I'll just be like, okay. One time, I'll just be like, yeah, hey Peter, check it out. I'm like Patrick Warburton. Like, bring it on. Peter, I'm a cop. I like you, but you're going to get a little retrospective. And
yeah.
And it's like, woo. Yes,
That
like
was-
another, and it's like, all right.
That was very good.
Yay!
Hidden talent, voice
You're an
actor.
actor too,
Let me
yes.
find out. You can animate your. You're the next Seth MacFarlane. You're gonna.
too.
Like,
Yeah.
Animation is pretty lucrative.
Yes, I mean, I have a list of all characters. I have a list of some like impressions that I can do. I don't know if I can still do them now.
I mean, if there's another one.
But
from a
wait,
cartoon,
can I
yeah.
ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
So, do you also like? Are you creating, or do you want to create like actual characters yourself? Like, is that something that you're doing as well? Like,
Oh, I have a lot of characters.
so you have
So
created
you're
characters.
thinking about characters, good. And what about stories? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not sure where the storyline is with my characters. I mean, I do have some characters with storylines, but I don't know how to put them in one show.
Okay.
I mean, I'm planning to create an indie show next year, which is 2020.
Okay.
Nice.
wow.
And that's when I'm going to start production. And I'm not sure how the storyline is going to go. I mean, but for now, it's just like slice of life.
You have a title of it?
No, that's not the title. That's the genre.
Okay.
The show is called Animalistic.
Okay.
Okay.
And I want it to be based like kind of like mixed with Samurai Champloo, but make it adventurous like JoJo.
Okay.
So you're really fond of these, like the samurai, ninja, like Eastern, like Japanese anime type.
Type of, but that's not like my main. I mean,
Yeah.
it is my main, but I like that when it comes to action because I'm a big fan of action. I watched Bullet Train 2 years ago.
Oh,
and
okay.
I absolutely love that movie.
Okay.
Lemon and Tangerines of Friendship. I just wanted to make like characters that were based off of Lemon and Tangerine
Got it.
because Thomas the Tank Engine.
Brendan,
Yes.
some of your favorites.
Oh man,
Animation.
I got some. I'm just gonna name all through time. Like one of my favorite cartoons of all time is Battle of the Planets G-Force. Yeah, it's old, but it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's I can't wait till they do a live action. I know it's gonna be terrible, but I just want to see it because I love the costumes, I love the design, and I love one of the things for me that got me into animation more so, I think, than anything else was the fact that I'd watch shows like that and Gundam and like Robotech, and people die on those shows. Like characters that you
So you
characters
like
that you-
Robotech. See,
I used to
I was not
I used to
a
watch
fan
the
of Robotech.
hell out of Robotech. I used to watch. I just love the art.
Yeah.
and it started from one of my friends had a manga, and it was a Gundam manga,
Mm-hmm.
and I used to read it all the time, and I just loved how sleek the designs are. I love the you already know I was a huge Star Trek fan. I love futuristic type of stuff, and just these planes turning into. I mean, this is the precursor to all the Transformer stuff, right?
mhm.
So this is before Transformers was even a thing. They had these mobile suits that were changing into different things. So I love that stuff. And I think more of the stuff that I like more recently is, I think that's why I like more realistic anime. So there's an anime that came out recently. It's on Netflix, which is, I don't know what it's called. I look it up. I'm gonna look it up right now. But it's a Terminator anime.
Mm.
It is great. It is.
What?
I don't want to say too much, but it revisits the entire Terminator lore
I definitely
and
saw
puts
it.
a slant on it.
I definitely
And
saw it
you're
online.
like, you think you've seen all the Terminator stories.
What?
And I know you got to see this.
I
I'll
love.
look
You
it
know,
up.
I love.
It's called Terminator.
Terminator.
I want to say
I've
Terminator
seen it on
Zero or something like
Netflix,
that.
and
It's on
I
Netflix?
think I was like interested, but I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I like that. So I'll get that title too. So that's one of my favorites right now. And what I've been watching, Shell too. You got me, and I was watching it for a minute. Is all the JLA, the Justice Leagues, and Teen Titans. I've watched those, or I visit those a lot. But I have to say, for the most part, any kind of animation that I'm watching now is kind of like pseudo indie stuff. So like the Scavenger's Reign, even Arcane, which is, though it's kind of not indie, but it's not by a huge studio, but it's by a French studio. A lot of these animations that come out of these French studios are amazing. They're rivaling what's happening in like Japan, and it's pretty incredible. Like Invisible. What is that? What's that movie with Groot? Not Groot. The yellow guy with the The cartoon one with the little minions. What's it called? Despicable Me. That's Lumiere or so. That's a French studio. So there's a lot of these quote unquote. I mean, when you get into budgets of $250 million, I don't know exactly how independent you can be, but but I like point. Right, exactly. That's your point. Yeah. But I like a lot of these independent looking projects that are out because I feel like there is a seriousness they treat the subject matter, whereas a lot of American animation is still kind of catered towards children, and I think there is a longing for deeper and more adult stories from adult people. Yeah. In an animation, in an animation format, and I think that these studios are kind of presenting and giving options for people like me who want more adult animation. So, cool. But if I had to say the top one right now, still after all this time, it's still going to be Battle of the Planets. Yeah. Yeah. What about you?
So I'm a bit of I don't know. I feel like I'm a bit of a purist, or I won't say a purist. It's like I loved animation simply for superhero animation. That's where my love started, right? So, but in terms of like what one of the ones that you mentioned, like Speed Racer, it was one of my favorite.
Speed Racer.
Like, and I didn't even realize it, but it is, I guess, an early form of anime, right? And so, and I read a little bit of the history of how it like kind of moved around and how it came to the United States or whatever. But I just really loved the sleekness of it. I loved the storyline, Racer X, the brother, the mysterious brother. It just really spoke to me or whatever. But I am a big like superhero kind of animation guy, and so it's weird because we grew up in the 80s. We talked about this with horror, right? Like the 80s has this effect, right, that it like leaves an indelible mark on us, right? But at the same time, I don't think the animation was that great. You know what I mean? Like for superhero stuff. Like I think about, and I've watched some of it recently, like to see if it held up, right? Like Spider-Man,
Spider-Man, Amazing
like
Friends.
not even the Amazing Friends before, like there was a Spider-Man
the other
that came
one,
out in
the 1981
or something like that. No, but there was the one in 1960. I actually really liked that one.
Yeah, me too.
Right? There was a style about it, right? That reminded me of the 60s that I love. But there's one that came out in 81 that I know the voices and everything are the same. So I know that they must have expanded it to His Amazing Friends. And I watched it, like it only went on for one season in 1981. Now Amazing Friends came out in like 83. Yeah. And the art is just so bad, right? Yeah. Like I watched this one episode with Black Cat, and it's just like the things that she's doing. It's just like, you know what? Even in modern times, like the way she's crawling up this wall is just like not possible. You know what I mean? It's just,
because I think they were made primarily for kids.
Yeah,
and I think
it's very unrealistic, right?
I don't think there's a problem with that,
right?
But for like, I definitely like you talking about Speed Racer.
Yeah,
what pulled me into animation so much at that time were Speed Racer. Maybe a little bit later, like Transformers, Silverhawks,
Thundercats.
Yeah. Like stuff that was kind of borrowing from anime a little bit.
Yeah.
And bringing and making Saturday morning cartoons or whatever, or after school cartoons a little bit more serious.
Right.
Yeah.
So I want to. Just to build on your point, right? I want to shout out one of my favorite shows, and I'm shouting it out because I'm also like I hope campaigning that they will have another like season 6. The people who are fans are avid, crazy fans. It's like just Young Justice, another.
You love that show.
I love Young Justice. It's from DC Animation. James Gunn. I don't know if I think it's on the. I don't know if it's on the chopping block or not, but and it doesn't match up with the DC universe, the James Gunn DC universe, right? Where they're bringing in Crypto. You say you love him, whatever. I'm just like
Crypto.
Okay, he's right, but Young Justice is a great show for the reasons that you speak of, right?
Yes.
It is adult themed. It started on Cartoon Network, I think, right? And then it's moved around because like for each season. I don't know. It was supposed to end after season 2. It's made it up until season 5. That's how like rabid the fans are, right? But it deals with real life stories, like characters who have real dilemma.
Yeah.
And it is an adult show. It is not really made for children.
Yeah.
I think in the last season, they've dealt with a lot of like themes and issues, you know, like one of the characters is
I think a lot of stuff kind of goes
is
over
gender
the
is
head of
like right
kids.
is gender like, you know,
Fluid.
gender fluid, you know, there's LGBTQ themes or whatever, which I'm not bothered with at all. And I think it's fitting. I think they are adult themes or whatever. It's just the way that you introduce these stories. For somebody from the outside, they may be thinking like, oh, this is like, you know, it's forced. And that's what you have to avoid. But I think that this is something that Young Justice, like characters die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like characters have died on Young Justice. You know what I mean? People have betrayed teams. It's like, I just love, and it is kind of young focused. Like, it's not the big superheroes, it's the younger ones. You know?
And you've
they kind of focused on a perspective on some issues like that, like when it comes to like race and prejudice and everything, you know, like shows like Static Shock and also Teen Titans as well.
Yeah.
You know, in that one episode of Teen Titans, Star was kind of offended. Bless you. Star was kind of offended when Cyborg called him Trog. And you know, they did talk about it, like it's kind of like racism and how it's just like it's all wrong. And
they don't shy away from that.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
I feel like it's important to talk about it. And
I mean,
you all know that Cyborg was gonna say like, Star was like, you know how it feels to be called like a terrible name, and Cyborg was like, of course I am. I'm part robot, but you know, you guys know what.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's very clever, right? Like Garth, you know, like he's lost his mother, and like there's, you know, in the latest season, you know, his you know, Superboy dies, right?
Yeah.
And he starts having a mental breakdown. Like he starts popping pills and stuff like that. And you know what I mean? They try to do an intervention. It's like
which is interesting because you watch these like G.I. Joes, which I do love G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
I love G.I. Joe.
Bad, not the best art, but great.
But you know, you're up there flying your whatever it is, you know, your jet in the sky, your chopper or whatever, and it gets blown up, and then they have to show after the explosion the little parachute after you know, after just to say it's okay, kids, nobody died, right? The ship just got, and I used to be like, that dude should be dead. Like, why is
oh, really? Yeah. It was always a lesson too, right? The more you know. Like I showed the more you know to my students from G.I. Joe. Like I don't know why I showed it, but it was related to something with one of the classes. I'm like, you know, what we learned back then, they would always have a message.
Yeah.
And they had this one, you know, the more you know, where this kid gets this call from like some random man who's like really trying to, you know, up to no good. He's like, hey, you know, I have a prize for you. Why don't you just give me your address? You know what I mean? And the kid's like, oh my God. Like he gives him his address and whatnot. And then the black guy, I can't remember his name, is it Gung Ho? He's like,
there was a bunch of Gung Ho,
like,
Roadblock.
Yeah, he's like, Gung Ho, I'm getting a prize. I'm waiting for the guy to pull up. He's like, don't you know you shouldn't be giving out your address to nobody when your parents aren't home? Go in the house and don't answer the door. You know, it's like,
it's like those PSAs.
The guy drives by, he like pulls up and sees Gung Ho, and he's like, oh shit, I gotta get out of here. And he pulls off. It's like, the more you know. You know what I mean? Like,
knowing's half the battle.
You know, and I think I was talking about like how, you know, how you're socialized and how we're like back then, like everything was a lesson, and they, you know, you have these agents of socialization who are constantly reinforcing like the norms and like and in television and stuff like that. You know, but like how they're incorporating these real life ideas, mental health.
Have you guys watched this new Creature Commandos?
No.
It's amazing. Have you watched Creature Commandos at all?
I feel like I've heard of that. I
feel like you'll like it. It's officially the soft launch of the James Gunn DCU universe.
Oh, okay.
So Superman is supposed to be the first movie, but the first introduction to his new universe is Creature Commandos. Okay. And it is very serious themed, real emotional topics. Just not to spoil it. I don't know how many of you seen Suicide Squad, the second one. But Rick Flag dies in the Suicide Squad. So his father is in Creature Commandos. And his father has a moment where he discusses his son dying on that mission the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you just don't expect to get that emotional in a cartoon when you're watching this guy talk about how much of a failure of a father he was and how he was hoping his son would be the best version of himself. And I'm like, why am I getting all weird in my gut right now about this cartoon? You know,
tap in. You know,
they had this dynamic with the Bride of Frankenstein and Frankenstein, who is and it borrows from the lore where essentially they're both immortal.
Yeah.
But the bride has been running from Frankenstein all for hundreds of years because Victor made Frankenstein for her. At Frankenstein, actually Frankenstein is the doctor. Sorry, the monster made the monster the bride for him, and just as in the movie, she saw him and she rejected him. Right. So there's this whole dynamic where she's like trying to run from this stalker for hundreds of years, and he keeps showing up. So it's James Gunn is really good at finding these obscure characters, fleshing out their stories. Because the thing about DC is, over Marvel, in my opinion, is that they do have more nuanced stories for their characters.
Well, their animation is just better, right?
Yeah, I feel that way.
And
Except for now,
we
with
have
the Marvel.
What
you just mentioned it.
Your What If, right?
What If?
And we got to give a shout out to X-Men '97.
I thought I was surprised.
You know what? I was waiting for you to say that.
'97.
I wanted to. I liked it.
Yeah. Full disclosure, I did not like X-Men, the first X-Men run.
Me neither.
I hated it. And I hated it I didn't like the art that much. The art could have been, redeemable, but I hated the voices. And I think this is an important part we were talking about before, like with voices and animation. If the voice doesn't hit right, I can't take the show. And the voice for Storm and the voice for Logan, Wolverine, just killed me for the X-Men. I absolutely hated it. I mean, I was just like, it really just made my blood
I couldn't
boil.
get past the art. That's why I didn't watch it.
And the art was really, it was off, right?
Like, and I love X-Men.
It was clunky art.
It was clunky, right? It was like
Pedro Pascal is really good.
The reboot.
Pedro Pascal,
yeah.
The reboot is sleeker. I think it's penciled well. It looks more realistic, and the voices fit. Aurora's voice is a little too, regal, like a little too regal for me, but it's like, it's better.
But the stories are amazing.
And the stories are great.
Amazing. I know.
The stories are great, right?
Great. You said you didn't get a chance to finish it.
I didn't get a chance to finish it.
Okay.
What do you think of what you watched so far?
I liked it. I don't know why I didn't love it. I wanted to love it.
How many episodes have you watched?
Maybe like 4 or 5.
Okay, yeah. So you're either gonna love it or you're not. But you like it though, right?
I like it, yeah. I like it enough that I will finish it.
Yeah. Would you say it was uneven? I think it's a little uneven.
It's a little bit uneven. I think it's hard when they try to condense such a broad story into short episodes like that. But I think for the most part, for the story they were trying to tell, I think they did a pretty decent job.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, the story is great too. But to your point, also the animation I think is a step up from what it was back in that original X-Men.
And people people take that as a hard criticism. I'm like, I love the X-Men.
Yeah.
I could not watch this show.
I couldn't. I couldn't. So
I have a question.
Yeah.
So what is just the top of your head? You waking up Saturday morning as a kid? Where was your go-to cartoon?
Saturday morning cartoon run.
Saturday morning was definitely like Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh. Did we talk about this?
Dungeons and Dragons. I think that was probably my first introduction. No, that wasn't. I had a module of the first Dungeons and Dragons. I'm just a classic cover with a red cover with the guy in front of the dragon, the red dragon, and on top of a pile of gold, like that original book for Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah. My mom threw it out.
Your mom threw it out.
Yeah, but that was my introduction to Dungeons and Dragons for when I was like probably like 13 or whatever.
Yeah.
But then that show came out, and I was like, "What is this?"
I love that show.
Good.
I love that. Why did we love it so much though? Was it the adventures?
I think it was the adventures, but I think the characters were also appealing. Like the characters were fun.
Yeah, I liked all the characters.
They were flawed.
They were flawed.
Okay.
Final thoughts? You wanna?
Yeah. So obviously, again, of course, we run out of time.
We were at it.
But final thoughts. Is there something that's coming out that you're looking forward to that's going to be an animation? Is there something that you wish would be
Done
made in animation, before before too long? And then that's it. What do you think? Is there something that
I'm looking forward to the new What If.
Yes. Yeah, me too.
Something done in animation. I would have to think about that.
Yeah.
I mean, right on the books right now is the What If, I think. I actually look for the new DC animation films that come out that are released for 2025. I literally I go on the internet and say what is coming out in 2024. This year was great. They had the Crisis on Infinite Earth series 1 through 3. That was sort of the DC animation feature. So I'm looking forward to whatever comes out with DC animation for 2025. I haven't looked at the list yet, but I'm excited about it.
Cool.
For animation wise, I don't know if it's going to be possible for 2025, but maybe like in the future, 2026. I'll just say Steel Ball Run parts. I think it was part 7 of JoJo.
Okay.
Because
Nice.
it's probably been taking a while for it to release because the manga is finished.
Nice.
And they are coming out with Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow in 2025, I believe.
Yeah, is that an animation?
It is an animation. I
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think for me, that's coming out. That is coming out. I think. I don't. There's nothing really that's coming out that I'm looking forward to. I think we already mentioned the Marvel What If series. What I would want to see, and especially after seeing the new Terminator anime, is I want to see an Aliens animation.
Really?
I want to see them do like an Aliens animation, like they did the Terminator animation. If you got to watch this Netflix, it's really good. And actually, now that I think about it, I'm looking forward to the next season of My Adventures with Superman.
Yeah.
Which was a lot of fun.
Nice. Superman.
Yeah, that was
Which
good.
is a James Gunn
It's the new DC
production
Yes.
thing. Right?
Though he didn't come out and say it's canon. He didn't come out and say it's part of the new universe, but it's under that new James Gunn DC direction.
Yeah.
It's a great show. My Adventures with Superman.
Definitely. Sorry. Also, can I say one more thing? I'm gonna honorable mention this because it just came up on my mind to think of a release show. Like Daisy season 1. It's the indie animated show.
Oh,
I was talking about.
The one you're speaking of?
Yeah.
Like a Daisy season 1.
Yeah, they raised $2 million off of crowdfunding, and now they're in the process of making season 1, and it's expected to release 2025. So I can't wait for that.
Oh,
That's
cool.
amazing. That's amazing.
Awesome.
So you guys got an entire list of homework to do before we talk again. If you have any suggestions for any new animes or animations, things that we should watch that you want us to cover, please let us know. Once again, we'd like to thank you guys for listening. Before we go, please let everybody know where they can find you if you have your socials.
Okay, so my socials everywhere is Jackimator or Jassimator. I don't know how to pronounce my own name. Everybody just says Jassimator. It's spelled Jacimator. I do art and animations, and sometimes I post sneak peeks, and it's really cool out there. You should check it out. It's really great.
Yeah, go check it out.
Awesome.
Go check it out. Show some love. Where can people find you?
Danadeet
Purple Rain.
on Instagram.
Danadeet on Instagram.
Yep.
Professor.
Sheldon Applewhite on Instagram.
All right.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Jacob, we had so much fun with you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it was really fun. I loved being here. It's really nice.
Yeah, we're gonna have
first time on the podcast.
Great idea, Sheldon.
Not
You're
your
gonna
last,
bring,
though.
you're
Not
gonna
your
bring your
last.
friends next
We're
time.
gonna have you back and bring your friends.
Yes.
I'll
Let's
definitely
expand the
bring-
conversation.
Yeah.
I'll definitely bring them.
Thank you guys for listening. I'm Brendon Hamilton, Bmusicmaker on all socials. Thank you guys for listening for the Quest Culture Podcast. We appreciate you showing support. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Later.